yesterday. So I definitely would be interested to see that. But so far, KT starting things off very much the same as our KEG with the Cassiopeia and then the Lucian ban. So maybe we just get exactly the same stuff.
Yeah, they're going to stay on blue side here. Not 100% sure how the side selection works for this one, but I would assume that it's similar to every other tournament, where one team gets the first choice, and then the next time they swap. And some teams just like a certain side a little bit better than the other, so they pick that one again, even though they were on it just the last time. Just going through all the picks and bans. It's all same so far.
Yeah, we saw Syndra, and then we saw Akali from KEG. So, seems like we might just have the same stuff over and over again.
Yep. I don't think we're going to see any mix-up there with the Akali. We haven't seen her played at all just yet because she is quite strong still. And, yeah, just go ahead and pick up that Misfortune. Aiming did earn himself a MVP with the Misfortune in game number 1 and is one of the best AD carries, if not the best right now, that we do see.
I thought you meant aiming. I was like, he's ascended that much?
No, the MF.
What happened to Teddy? Like, what happened to all these?
Aiming's
always been pretty good, but come on now, Valdez. Like, that's quite the assumption.
Aiming needs a lot more time here. We'll see what he can do this year on KT.
Okay, I gotcha. I was going to say, he played adequately in game 1. Just enough to get that MVP and to help secure the victory. But yeah, KG right now going to be piecing together a very similar composition. As we can see, the Varus and the Olaf. Seems like it's going to be another Leona in the bot lane. So are we actually just going to see the same exact game with 2 different players?
Ooh.
No, never mind. Changing it up. Bono going to be going for the Elise.
And this is something that Atlas really wanted to see yesterday, but never got a chance to. So shout out to him. I know he's watching at home.
Because he's Australian and they don't mind spiders.
Yes, he loves his spider lady here. And Bono is going to be the first one to give us that opportunity to see this champion coming in here at the KeSPA Cup. After level 6, you try to cocoon that Olaf. It's not going to be great, but burst damage, as we have seen, is quite good against a champion that's only way of engaging is running straight at you. So definitely can still be pretty good in team fights, as the Thresh once again going to be picked up here for Plata. He didn't exactly impress in game number 1, but we'll see what he can do here on his second try.
Well, this is going to be the first change-up that we see here from the side of KG Ulsan. This time it's going to be a ban on the Renekton. Even though we do not have Ray in the game, we'll still ban that one away. Jax, unsurprisingly, as you were mentioning, KUS, a very big player of the Jax in his solo queue history and whatnot. So a little bit of a change here for the side of KG. Let's see what that second ban is going to be if they try to further disable the side of KT Rolster. If they just go for that Fiora again. Instead, it's going to be the Aurelia.
Aurelia coming in here as a ban. And, yeah, we'll get LS here on the desk eventually to give us a lot of his fun pronunciations of the other ones. Aurelia is a less appreciated one by the fans. I think they don't mention the way he pronounces Aurelia a lot of the time. But speaking of which, how about this target ban against Quad?
Yeah.
Talia going to come out, as Kuro says, no, we're not going to let that guy play that again.
He's earned the respect. So they will take that one away. It's just going to be another Aatrox coming in for KUS. So, yeah, so far it's going to be the same team for KEG minus the Talia. We'll see what Quad is going to want to pick up this time around. For now, KT flipping through the book, trying to figure out exactly which pick they'd like to go for. Likely in that top lane.
Fiora? It's not banned this time around, but Sohan is a big Jace player, so not a big surprise that he does end up picking that one up into the Aatrox, which is almost definitely going to be going top lane.
Well, we have to see. This could yet be the Aatrox in mid for Quad, so we'll have to see. Maybe they try to pull a bit of a fast one, and then Kuro might have to be the one trying to operate that Jace in the mid lane, which, of course, he'll be up to snuff on it, but have to wait for these final picks to come through as the time does tick down. And, oh my goodness! Well, it's been a It's been a hot minute since I've seen one of these picked. Is Fly in here? What happened? Like, okay.
Well, he played yesterday, so maybe just his presence.
All right, Aurelion Sol picked up for Kuro in the mid lane.
Yeah. Of course, Kuro also likes his Aurelion Soul and will bring it out here for game 2. Like that he's given us a little bit of a treat as he is going to be going up against the Victor, as Quad has been given the counter pick in the mid lane for the second time in a row. So they do see the Aurelion Soul come in, and that will be the choice.
All right. Well, it has been it has been a while since I've seen the Aurelion Soul pick up. So really fun to see this hero come through yet again. It was always so very niche when I was casting the LCK before. There was a couple people who would reliably pick that up. Fly is the most notable. That does come to mind. But yeah, it's going to be really fun to see this one come out. And I mean, yet again, just a lot of great CC on the side of KT, even though, you know, they change up. They have the Elise coming through this time in the jungle. They don't have that Lee Sin to kind of get their way into the back line, but now they have the Cocoon to go forward with the Zenith play that TuSin can set up with the Solar Play. So they still have a plethora of CC to lock people in, for the AoE to come out from the Misfortune, from that Aurelion Soul to just wreak havoc on the members of KG Ulsan.
Yeah, definitely a fun composition there. Lots of damage in this game from both sides. Do have to kind of favor KT, though, at the end of this draft, and we'll see how they can do it going into the game.
That's how we felt going into game number 1. It was still rocky, but let's see if they can go ahead and stabilize with the swaps coming through on their roster, or if KAG can, in fact, give us that sought-after game number 3. We're going to find out as we jump into game number 2 right now.
KT Rolster, nah, do it, say, KT Rolster fighting!
Stripped off the Rolster part, so
okay.
My bad.
Usually they do as well.
KG Ulsan, ha, do, say, KG Ulsan fighting! We got him covered.
Yeah, there's definitely a difference in terms of the genders that are cheering for the different teams as well, which is, you don't see that too often.
It could be, you know, it could be just, you know, people with high-pitched voices and...
Yeah, it could be.
You know, you never know. Those faceless people in the crowd who are offering up their votes of support. Good to hear, though.
Yeah, it's great to hear from the fans, of course.
Even with, you know, with Ulsan coming out, having that much support is
it's great.
A very impressive thing to see for such a young team getting together for this tournament.
Yeah.
But things looking very similar, yet slightly different here as we start off the game. Not going to be seeing any major group ups like we saw at the beginning. So no giant roams forward into enemy territory. Instead, just going to be a bit more of a spread coming through as each bot lane gets ready to help their respective junglers.
We'll hope as the tournament does go along, perhaps we can eventually stop doing the fan chants, as maybe the fans will come on down to the next on Arena, especially as some of those big teams do come in.
Yeah.
And when two big teams do go head-to-head, no doubt there will be a bunch of fans coming down to the studio, and we can hear from them instead of you and I doing our best Mickey Mouse impression. As Bono going to come in here, scan away that ward, actually.
Okay.
Kuro going for a little bit of a little vacation here.
Yeah, just going to be dropping a ward down. They're perfectly aware of exactly what he did, and I don't think they're going to have to play really any differently around that ward, as they know where it's at. They should also know exactly where Bono is going to be. So this won't change up the pathing too much, methinks. For now, it's just going to be that posture dance here into the bottom lane. It's Playtime going to be according to Brush, but of course it's going to be in vision. As soon as that level 2 comes through from TuSin, going to have to show a bit more respect. They do get it first, but unable to make anything happen with it. We'll see. TuSin, does he pull off a well-executed engage this time in the early game, or is it more face-to-wall?
Yeah, he struggled a bit there in game number 1. I think certainly his fans, or rather his coach, as Bono's coming up top.
The dash has been used. Cocoon's still going to be held on to here by Bono. The flash in. Cocoon going to connect. They dive in, and that's going to be first blood going over to Bono. So on. Going low from the turret shot, but will be able to survive. Picks up that nice little turret creep as well and can pull back. So already KT looking leaps and bounds better than in game number 1.
Yeah, it's pretty massive. You think that after the jungle changes where there's a bunch of these camps that come up very quickly, and Riot's trying to push towards a little bit more farming and punishing ganks that go wrong that potentially Elise could suffer, whereas Olaf could rise up in the ranks. And yes, we do see a lot of Olaf, but when you get a gank that is that clean, the timing was perfect. Hitting level 3 out of the jungle, coming up top, neither Bono nor Soan had to burn their flash, whereas KUS had to use both of his summoners to get back into lane and to try to survive there. It was a perfectly set up gank, just waiting until he did go for the flash, and now that he doesn't have flash, they can easily just go up to the top lane and do it again.
Yeah, and this time Kuro's going to be coming through. Flying over the top of the map here, using that Comet to go ahead and help him out. Star Surge going to be coming through, pushing out the damage even further, and that will be the kill. TP, as you said, cannot be canceled. So Quad now going to be sticking up in the top lane. Kuro still floating around the back, is on vision.
Oh boy.
And the minions slowly starting to get cleaned out, but Quad does not have that much damage yet. Cocoon going to be connecting through. They look for the stun. He'll flash to the other side. Kuro manages to make it out. Fantastic pacing under the tower. They get the trades coming through on the shots, and everybody makes it out hunky-dory. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, however, flashing forward, manages to find the kill. Can he get another one? He's going so very low. Will get finished off, however, and Tucson just can't get the lockdown onto anybody to try to trade up. So will just be a 1-for-1 exchange in that bottom side of the map. But overall, it is 4-1 in favor of KT right now.
Well, there you have it. KT are angry after game number 1. They said, they're like Keen from yesterday, where they're like, oh, we're not too happy with our play. And they have come out and really bursted the doors off of this entire game. They're making KUS's life a living hell. They got the teleport and the kill onto Quad, as well as his flash up in the top side. So many wins over and over, and KG Ulsan tried to follow up with a gank on the bottom side, but then it goes 1-1, which is not what you want. As you see another look here at the gank. Nice flash from Kuro.
Fantastic trading off there from Kuro, yep. And then the bot lane. I mean, they see this coming through, and it just overall very well played for aiming to get in there and get that kill. Did have to burn his flash for it, and didn't quite have to follow up onto Bao. Tucson was trailing a little bit further behind, so, you know, definitely was unlikely for them to get that kill, so I don't think they missed out on too much. And now it's just going to be all summoners down effectively in the bot lane, except for aiming's cleanse. He's still all right to push forward. But KT, I mean, this is an explosive start for them here at the beginning. 1.1k gold lead in 6 minutes and already 5 kills. Look forward here into the play. Tucson going to be taking a little bit of shots from that tower as well. Pops that W, try to stay alive in the meantime. Dan, the Italian man, has to flash over the wall, makes his way into the blue pit, and will be able to go ahead and slink his way out of the jungle, but it's with a sliver of HP, so he can't even stick around and try to get any of that health back. The river has been completely surrendered to KT, who are likely to set up for that first mountain drain.
I love how every time you're casting Dan Italian, you just add more and more onto the name. First it was Dan the Italian, now it's Dan the Italian Man.
Yeah.
Soon it's going to be Dan the Italian Man with lasagna and pasta sauce and meatballs coming in.
I'll just go ahead and add in his social security number and his date of birth.
Oh, yeah, sure. Dan the Italian, very easily identified, no doubt. But yeah, did get the flash out there. Good play by them. And, man, you know, a lot of people don't talk too much about Bono because he, you know, he was on Hanwha Life, and Hanwha Life did struggle a lot in 2019, but he was a jungler that was always massively aggressive in the early game, and when he has a good early game, he does MVP level early games, not the team, but, you know, a chance to get the MVPs for his team because he just is so active around the map in making these plays. And junglers like Elise, he plays a lot of Jarvan as well. These kinds of junglers allow him to get in there. So Malrang is similar style, but Bono is much cleaner. And it's interesting now that both of those junglers are on the same team.
Yeah. Very good look for Bono so far. You know, from what I can remember back to Bono playing, it was a very rare statement to be said. He didn't have too many good performances, in the 2018 era. But right now, on this Elise, 2-0-1, has that first bounty in the game, so it's a very good start indeed for him. Ro just going to be pushing back over into the mid lane, has that Star Surge coming through, just expanding that circle, just trying to melt through these minions as much as humanly possible.
Yeah, Aurelion Soul changed up a bit. You can't just have them on the very outer limit indefinitely. It only lasts for about 3 seconds now, so I think a little bit of the difficulty chopped away from the Aurelion Soul, but still it's played in a similar fashion. You can still push relatively fast with the 3 seconds that you do have on your W, I believe it is, with the stars, pushing them out. And you still have this roaming potential, which he's really trying to make work with the Elise on his team for the top lane.
He very much is. I mean, you can see how far back KUS is having to play. So1 just pushes past the tower, so KUS immediately assumes that the gank is coming through.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty empty threat. I mean, they do have Bono hovering nearby, but he's on the Rift Herald at the moment. And So1 just gets to chip away at this tower, collect that plate gold. So it's fantastically done right now from KT. The pressure being applied and the presence of the members here on the map is just phenomenal. So first Rift Herald will go over to Bono, scoops that one up, and now is just getting ready to hand off the blue buff here to Kuro.
Yeah, Mountain Drake taken here by KT a while ago, I suppose. And just getting all the objectives so far, plus an early lead for your Jace top and your Elise jungle means that although they have taken some losses in CS in the mid and bottom lanes, they're winning in CS by 20 up on the top side and could potentially be more once Jace gets up there and catches that wave, actually. So they're trying to offset some of the losses in the CS, and they've also gotten so many other wins on the map that it doesn't really matter. KT definitely in a great spot here in this game.
Yep, super strong start for them. Quad doing what he can to try to get back into a relevant position, but the minion's getting cleaned up a lot faster than he would have expected. We'll have to go ahead and use that ult. Speaking of ults in the bot lane, we will see the bullet time coming through. Just gets a little bit of damage there on the bow, but overall he will be okay. Bono, however, hovering nearby, but seems like he's going to go ahead and peel back as there's being pressure applied in the mid lane. Minions will just go ahead and push forward, chip away at that tower.
Yeah, and in terms of the compositions here, of course, Varus Victor can do pretty well as the game does go along, but as you guys did see, Aatrox and Olaf not going to be too happy if we do go into another 40-minute game like we did have in game number 1. Aatrox can be okay if you get that great engage, but he's also had a pretty rough time in the early game, as here's Bono.
Well, Cocoon not going to connect, so Bono will just go ahead and slink away in shame for missing his skill shot. Back into the jungle with him. Seems like he's going to go try to put up a bit of a fight here against Dan Italian.
Dan the Italian with the spaghetti and meatballs.
Yep. We will see the Rift Herald summoned up. That tower is going to fall for the first one of the game as they choose for. Now going to be looking for KUS. Instead, turn their sights over onto Dan the Italian man. Cocoon not going to connect. Both of them will be able to retreat, but they still manage to find that first tower kill. It will go ahead and put them 2.8 thousand gold ahead for the side of KT. Next dragon as well, getting ready to spawn in 25 seconds, and KT is very nicely poised to be able to claim that for themselves.
Yeah, notice that all this pressure in the top lane is really taking pressure off of some of the other lanes, not necessarily the mid lane, but in the bottom lane at least. The Thresh having to get in there, but the cleanse going to be used now.
Yep, does get burned. Quad. That Dark Passage over to the side, still going to be down below half HP. Flash away from the stun. He's been very good about eluding those, but still there's so much pressure being applied now for KT. So1 joining in as well with a TP of his own will push forward. The Flay back, not going to be enough to peel for Plieta. So he still will get burned down. A kill to So1. 6-1 overall for KT. And the Dragon just spawned, and everyone's right here on the bottom side of the river, so it's a perfect position for them to go ahead and scoop it up.
Gotta love it. This is the KT we were expecting to come out here against KEG Ulsan, even from game number 1. Took them a little bit of time to get the solid ground under their feet, but now they are dominating and making it look really easy. The early wins up in the top side, and Bono really playing on point. His cocoons have basically hit every single target. He was the one that was able to keep Plieta there and available for that second kill. As, just sticking around for a little bit too long, and Tucson coming all the way from the bottom lane to try to join up for this one. Took the long run up, but got there on time. And notice the Cocoon as well, max range in the top side. So Bono locks down the Thresh whilst helping burst down the Victor, and then that opens up a second kill for them in the Thresh. And then the Easy Dragon, as you mentioned. Everything going right for KT. They look like a great team now here in Game 2.
I mean, just for what it's worth, I do have to give a bit of credit over to Quad for that perfect cleanse timing.
Yeah.
That was very much, frame perfect. Ult not going to connect from too soon, but you can see that he's fishing. He's willing to go for the aggressive play to try to get the kills coming in. And further advance that bot lane and knock down that tower. It's going to be opened up with the Infernal map now. Tucson going to have to go golden. Might have overstepped just a little bit this time yet again. You can see that aiming's like, you know what? You're dead, dude. I'm going to go help fight in the enemy jungle. We'll go ahead and push his way up here. Red Dentalian just does not stand a chance. It's going to be a handoff on the buffs over to aiming. But now, does he face check? Takes a lot of damage here. But will go ahead, wisen up, retreat up to the north side of that river to get himself back over to the tower. And the recall will be completed right that very same frame that he becomes visible. Otherwise, that would have been a kill on aiming and another handoff on the buffs. Meanwhile, it will just be the mid-tier 1 tower falling here at the hands of KT Rolster, who continue to surge forward as far as the gold lead is concerned.
Yeah. Instead of getting a small win onto aiming, they feed him some CS in the bottom side. And, wow. Also, yeah, I mean, it's the Infernal Elemental Rift, so ton of AoE damage coming in here anyway, as they were all fighting over the blue buff. They get the double kill in the middle there of the buff. They take down Victor. They take down Olaf. Poor Quad had such a good early start to this tournament, but now in Game 2, he's 0-3 on the Victor, which is never where you want to be when, again, he had counterpick for the mid lane.
I was also just kind of shocked that Cocoon actually connected onto Dentalian rather than onto the blue buff. It was such a slim margin to actually get that, and then he forces him to pop the Ragnarok to get out of the stun. So if that had hit blue buff, it might have been a slightly different situation, and maybe one that KG Ulsan would have been able to turn around into their favor, at least mitigate their losses a little bit further. But that's not how it transpired, so no need to live in the past. For now, though, 5,000 gold in the lead just about the KT, looking to move that even further up as we get the second Rift Herald going over. Bono has just been fairly uncontested this entire time. If he's fighting, it's because he's the one engaging. He's going in for a gank. He's invading in the enemy jungle. No one's really been able to disrupt him whatsoever. Looking for Kuro in the mid lane, it would seem, though. He tries to retreat. Bono, however, again, going aggressive. It's going to be a hook in. Kuro going lower and lower, and he will be taken down. Bao able to find that kill. Rappel up into the air, however, in the leap forward, Bono manages to find another kill. So 9-3, as KEG will finally be able to take their first turret of this game. Go ahead and knock that down in the mid lane, but it is at such great costs. Bot tier 1 going to be falling. Bot tier 2, or top tier 2 rather, likely to fall as well. There it is. So they get a kill, but it's just so much more in favor of KT still.
Yeah, at the end of the day, the mid-tier 1 is obviously a massive objective, but as you're pointing out, 2 kills going the other way in terms of towers are going to be good. This is rough. I mean, it's hard to get away from this when you're Aurelian Soul with no flash, and you're getting flashed upon by basically 2 members in the mid lane. It was 4-on-1, so you can't really blame Kuro for that one. He was in a pretty safe spot of the lane, so no harm, no foul. It's good that the rest of his team was able to identify the situation and say, yeah, sorry, buddy, you're dead. We're just going to push the other lanes, and we're just going to try to lock down the kill as well up in the top side. So KT continue winning as, I don't know if you've noticed this, but Bono... He's bugged. He's got the Zhonya's sound effect following him around the rift right now.
He's going to keep going. It's because he's just so angelic right now. Look at his scoreline, 5-0-3 on this Elise. So more than half of the kills in his favor right now. This guy is just performing so very well. We'll go ahead, get that charge in. The turret just starts disappearing. And there's another wave being brought up right now by Kuro, who also has that Celestial Expansion. It's chasing forward. Won't be able to get the stun. But it does zone them back far enough to not be able to defend and get rid of that Rift Herald. So we'll find that next turret. So just going to be the tier 2 mid standing outside of the base for KG Ulsan. So a much faster-paced game here at the hands of KT. Now the Infernal Drake going to be picked up by them. And this is, again, very scary because it's Infernals from here on out, and they only need one more. 5 minutes from now, if they can pick it up to get that Dragon Soul buff.
Yeah, and this is not a game that looks like game number 1 where it's KT slowly coming back over the course of, 20 minutes, and it takes them a long time to win. This is them dominating in the early game. So we're going to have a Dragon Soul buff most likely at 22 minutes into the game. So, or 23 minutes. So hold on to your horses. We are going to have a big KT team with double Infernal plus the on-hit effect and plus all the extra items that they have on a bunch of their carries.
Yeah.
Would be nice if Kuro had some of the kills. He's only 0, 1, and 5, so that's unfortunate for him.
I think that's exactly what he's saying to his teammates right now is, guys, it'd be nice if you could share with me.
Absolutely. But, I mean, it does open up the Zhonya's early for the Elise, so at least she's going to be able to hop in there, do a ton of crazy burst damage, and then survive very well.
Right now, getting ready to siege up around the mid lane. Biding their time. Shock Blast going to be coming through. Wow, taking a major shot. That's going to be a flash away. As the Leona and the bullet time does come through. They're trying to open things up here onto the tower. Stun does manage to come in, rather onto So-On. Will be able to flash away. Ragnarok going to be popped out by Dan the Italian man. He tries to chase forward, looking for an opportunity to land that undertow, but can't quite weave it through. Hopefully they have managed to successfully push back, stave off KT Rolster here for the moment. Aiming still sticking around with Kuro, but low mana and no tanks to really back them up, so they will have to peel away soon enough, you would expect. Quick recall is going to be coming in for KEG's members as they try to defend here on this mid tower. Voice of Light going to be used by Kuro, but doesn't find too much of a connection. Looks out quad just a little bit. Now the TP is going to be coming in. Paula's going to be arriving first. TP in the back as well. Going to be matched by So-On. Wrapping around the backhand side. Ready with that Shock Blast. Hits the minions, however. Doesn't clip anybody on the side of KEG. Oh, man. Here's the find him with a Frost, but can't quite get the kill. So nothing to be found on the back end of those TPs. Just both teams playing aggressively.
Yeah. Aurelion Sol more of an arcane mage rather than a frost mage, so not quite doing enough damage there with the super soaker. But seriously, I mean, it was a pretty good push from the side of KT. It was so many ultimates used on both sides at the end of it. And I do have to say, just, we're talking a lot about how KT is very far ahead and how they're the better team and all this stuff, but credit to KG Ulsan, or at least some of their players. I really like Bao. I think he's very consistent. From game 1 to game 2, he has done really well, and it's not just because he has 3 kills. It's mainly because of his chains of corruptions. I think he's really on point with that, and consistency, again, is the main word that I would use for him. So, well, Akakun is going to go wide. Shout out to Bao. I'm not sure if they're going to actually be able to come back in this one, especially when your solo lanes are both so far behind, and you're going up against an ultra-accelerated Elise and Jace specifically that are going to do insane poke damage alongside of the MF who can ult at a moment's notice. So I feel like the pick potential and the poke damage from the side of KT should be able to net them this next kill, especially once KG Ulsan is forced to come out of the mid lane and start to try to fight against this Dragon Soul buff.
All right, now sieging up here into the mid lane. Cleanses one, but no follow-up on the second as the various does connect onto aiming. Gotta run away. It's going to be a double stun into the Shock Blast, and now they just disappear. Voice of Light does come through, manages to take down Plieta, and the turret does follow. 58 seconds remaining on that Infernal Drake. KT, what is the play? Do they stick around in the mid lane, try to siege, or do they retreat over towards the Baron/Dragon area? Seems like for now just going to be taking their time. Get some vision established in the forward jungle here of KG Ulsan. Maybe wait for them to come forward and try to clear it out because they know that they have to fight for that Dragon Soul buff.
Yeah, I was mentioning the poke on KT's side, and maybe this is my greenness as an analyst, but how about a lane-wide Star Surge that just comes in and stuns 2 members, zones the other 2. That's going to be one of their best ways to get a fight started, and a huge amount of damage and poke that does come in. Speaking of which, another fight trying to be started here by Tucson, who really does not have brakes on this car.
No, he does not. Yeah, it's in the play forward. News that the Ragnarok was down so they could get the stun combo off with a little bit of follow-up. They would be able to get rid of that Olaf. Bullet time going through. And again, the bot lane duo of Ulsan just have to retreat, but they also have to play forward and defend this Dragon. Dragon Soul on the line for KT. If they get this, it's pretty much over. It's so very low here on the Thresh, and that is going to be it. Infernal Drake scooped up here for the side of KT. The stun connects. Look at the damage onto Dan, the Italian man. Hook from play. They're not going to be able to find anything, and they are in full retreat mode. They just have to run away. Quad trying to poke out where he can. It's the ult rolling, trying to chase down Soan, but he's a little bit too fast. The damage is not significant enough. He's so far behind that he cannot chunk through them. And they are all just slowly collecting together with slivers of HP up on this top side of the map where Bono is waiting, pressing forward, applying that pressure, trying to find the kills. Looks like he's got a nice double in his sight. Doesn't land the cocoon, but already one going to fall as Quad does get taken down. The chase continues. KUS falling lower and lower, has to use the World Ender just to try to get the heck out of dodge. Making it rain, looking for the slows, aiming, flashing forward, looking for the double tap, manages to find it. Double kill going over. 2 aiming, manages to find that kill. Just a single, looks like. Yeah. Either way, this might just be the finishing push here, even with 20 seconds remaining on Quad. Top inhibitor will be taken down. The minion wave, strong enough you would expect, but they will be playing this one safe. They will go ahead and pull back.
Yeah, so the second they get that Dragon Soul buff from the Infernal, they immediately... You saw Tucson was only heading one direction, and that was directly at KEG Ulsan. They're above 10,000 gold ahead now. They had insane damage with just the poke and the way that the Infernal Dragon Soul buff does work, and they were able to push them all the way down the lane, get a big win. They were thinking about backing off and taking Baron, but I think that's a little bit too much to chew off here. Right now, but it's okay. I mean, you go back, you buy up with that massive gold surge that you just got from all of the team fight that you did just win, and just return to it, you know, because at this point, with the Dragon Soul buff and how far ahead KT is, there's no real way for KEG Ulsan to challenge at Baron or stop a push, really, especially with the poke composition that KT do have in total. They can siege turrets so beautifully, and it looks like that is going to be what they're thinking about.
Well, Ragnarok popped, and the Italian just going to go ahead and run out of there as quickly as he possibly can.
He's been doing a lot of that
yes,
today.
He has. I mean, anytime something gets thrown at him, he's just popping that Ragnarok ever since he got it. So, has only died once, to be fair. So, doing all right in that regard. We did see the first death for Bao. But, I mean, 13-3. Over a 10,000 gold lead at the moment here for KT Rolster. The Baron has been started up. There's no vision on the top side of the map outside of where that tier 2 tower used to be standing up top. So Baron just going to be taken for free. So now Baron with the Dragon Soul buff with 2 Infernal Drake stacked on top of it. KT, like, what would it take to throw this? It's what I'm trying to think about. I think it's incomprehensible. Flash forward, Zenith play, then no. Again, Ragnarok not down this time, so the second death will be coming through for the Italian. Major shock blast there, chunking out Bao quite a bit. Dive into the back, Bono looking for the kill on the quad. Chunks him out. You can see that burn damage coming through. Shock blast had that connected onto the Victor without the shielding. In all likelihood, would have taken him down.
KT don't even have to engage. They just use their abilities from range and chop them all down one by one, Seth.
Yeah, Tucson going to the back. Gets the lockdown. A double kill. Scooped up there. Poor Soan. Crow gets another one on the back end. Finishes out this game 4-1-6. We've got a considerable amount of kills by the end of it, but 18-4, 27.5 minutes just about on the clock with a 14,000 gold advantage. KT Rolster will be able to clean up the members of KEG Ulsan and take down this Nexus to advance forward here in the KeSPA Cup round of 16.